It's the Hot Mess with Jess, and today's guest, we have Terrence The Gawd Show Davis.
The Gawd Show, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Jesse. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad, man. You are literally just trailblazing in so many fun things and being very busy. I mean, on top of, we'll talk about polls and punchlines, number 2 ranking in Columbus and all that stuff. But before we get into that comedy stuff, how's the holidays treating you, my friend?
Oh, everything's good. Everything's good. I, at this point, have not purchased a single Christmas gift.
Me too, man. I haven't done shit, man. It is horrible. Like, why do people like us always wait to the last minute? Is it the joy? Is it the adrenaline rush? Did we watch Jingle all the way and sympathize with Arnold Schwarzenegger's character too much? What is it?
Absolutely. I think it's the rush,
It's the rush?
Because you could, realistically, you could get gifts all year,
Yeah, you can.
Do it in a 3-day period right before Christmas.
Have you ever told somebody like, hey, I wrapped the receipt of what I got you. You're going to love it. It'll be here on the 27th. Have you ever done that before?
I have not wrapped the receipt yet.
Totally done that. Done that.
Nice.
I'll mark out what I paid because I don't want them to know I got a special. Sure. But like, you know what I mean? Like I will be like, yeah, you're gonna get that in 3 days. So yeah.
No, that's a level of maturity that I don't have. I am so uncouth. I would just say it's gonna be here on January the 3rd. I just we're not gonna wrap a receipt. I'm just gonna let them know that I'm a POS.
You could
waited until.
Yeah, there's so many manners of delivery nowadays that you could do and it can be very special like that. Like Amazon, because like there's an option that you can have the gifts wrapped or something like that. If I read somewhere,
you can. Yeah, I think you can.
And here's how crazy as a society we've gone. I was getting Uber last night, right? Delivery, okay? Uber delivery for food. Did you know that you could send a message to somebody with a celebrity, like a cameo celebrity? No, this is no joke. Okay, so you go to Uber Eats, right? And they'll have like a pre-recorded message like saying, hey, food's on us today or whatever. And it's like the Jonas Brothers, Cardi B. And it's like, what in the world? Who did this?
Sounds like I have a new Christmas gift to give people now.
I want you to work so hard that the Gawd Show is delivering all my food. Like everything shows up. But like as soon as you're like, here's McDonald's, also check out my shows. And then you just like, boom, right there. Yeah, but
make people lose their appetite if they heard that I was on the way. I would be door dashing Ozempic to people, It just,
dude, we will get to the point where we get DoorDash Ozempics. I mean, now, like, dude, you ever go on like Uber Eats and like they'll have like a store like for non-edible shit? Dude, you can get like sex toys and shit like that on there. I'm like part of me wanted just to get 2 awkward things and see how the delivery driver handles it.
I mean, can you imagine the amount of like weird shit that they get like on purpose? You know what I mean? Like
dildos and Popeye's chicken.
Yeah, like that's insane. Because I mean, when you think about it, because when you're ordering that stuff online, you feel anonymous, right?
Yeah. Oh no.
So, DoorDash, dildos, and Popeyes.
They gotta pick it up. And you're like, oh no, I don't need lubrication. That chicken is greasy enough for me. It's okay. Like it's okay. Dude, it's so crazy. Like it like sometimes I step back and I go like, we really our society is very interesting what we have and what we can get. And also I remember when it was the tits when we went to Target and got the popcorn and our mom got us popcorn from Target. You remember growing up and getting that experience? Now you could just be like, I want AMC popcorn. Boom! And it's like all of a sudden movie theater popcorn right there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah,
but
as the father of a spoiled 11-year-old, I think about the stuff that so this is an aside, but
yes, I love
probably about like 3-4 years old or something at the time. And she's on her iPad watching some video. And then she's like, Dad, I have a problem. and then I look and see, and it was just that it was a commercial. You know what I mean? Like I had signed into my wrong YouTube account, not the YouTube premium one, but the other YouTube account, and there was a commercial, and she had never seen a commercial in her 4 years of life. It was.
We learned how to use a microwave under 3 minutes with a commercial break. We learned how to take a piss, get another like hot pocket before the commercial break ends. Like that was a talent. Like and you knew to put the hot pocket in before you took the piss because it was cooking well. Like you knew it all, man. But like kids nowadays, man, they don't know what it's like. They don't know. They don't know these time management skills that we were able to learn. You know? So, yeah, it's unbelievable. I think about like how privileged just, and like you said, the DoorDash, like that's crazy. That, my daughter, she'll DoorDash Taco Bell. You know what I mean? Like just the idea of that even existing is still hilarious to me. Like, do you remember when like fast food was a privilege that you got as a kid? Like I remember McDonald's was like something maybe twice a month if I was lucky. Yep. And now I'm just like the fat piece of shit where when I was a kid, I was like, every day McDonald's, this is so cool. And now I'm an adult and I'm like, I fucking hate myself. Why did you do this to yourself? You don't have to do this anymore. You can eat real food. It's difference when you grow up, man. But
for sure.
So today I want to talk about like you're like a very well-rounded performer, I have to say. You're an outstanding stand-up comic, improv performer, and those two are so interesting because you started in improv, correct?
I did.
So anyways, I remember a period of time when we did a lot of online shows. You remember that time we did online shows?
Oh yeah.
And you did the PowerPoint slides you did with your improv group and everything. I got to know you guys a little bit before the online show season at Wild Goose and stuff like that. And improv is, how'd you get started in that, man?
Man, it always starts with a girl, you know? It always starts with a girl.
Cliche as fuck, my friend.
Yeah,
I'd say
of course. But I had always wanted to do stand-up comedy. I've always I grew up as a stand-up comedy nerd. Watching Johnny Carson, Don Rickles, Rodney Dangerfield, I always loved stand-up, but I was too afraid to do it. I was always just like I didn't want to do it because I felt like I was going to mess it up. And so years go by, and after I had broke up, I decided, it's been a while. I haven't done anything new because I was in the dumps, after having this breakup. I was like, I'm going to try something I haven't done ever. So I jumped in and I took an improv class.
Okay.
Because that was close, that's like stand-up adjacent, it was comedy. Yeah. But, it's like, I don't have to worry about just being up there by myself. So I did an improv class, really enjoyed it. And immediately, kind of formed a group and got asked to do some performances with some groups. And that's where that started. So I did improv for probably about what, 4 or 5 years before I actually did stand up. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and like the improv it's interesting you went that route because I consider improv to be more advanced than stand up in many different ways. I mean, yes, you get to do it with people and other partners and stuff like that, but
sure.
There's a certain aspect of like at least stand up. We're going on to the stage with a parachute that we hope works when we jump out of the airplane. Sure. As opposed to with improv, you are sewing the parachute together before you hit the ground. And that is a certain rush that is fantastic. I remember Wild Goose when they used to do all the play halls, and they would always pull me in. And I was the guy like double Dutch, but except like I would never go in. How were you always a very spontaneous person? Were you always able to crack the code and find the right thing to say in that right moment to keep it going?
I don't know if I can always find the right thing to say. No, I think I'm shameless enough to say the wrong thing and just own it, like that. That's what it is.
But saying the wrong thing at the same time is pretty impressive because I mean, how many times, like I said, I cowered and didn't say anything half the time. I was kind of the Silent Bob of improv in Columbus.
I was like growing up, so my parents, very, very funny, very funny. I grew up in my parents were just always just, by the time I got to school, like I had been roasted for like hours every morning between my
Yep.
mom and my dad. So like there was always banter. I was always relieved to get to school and to find a bully. You know what I mean? So it was like,
I thought that sentence was going to end so much differently. I'm like, oh, my parents were so humorous and funny. Then when I went to school and I got roasted, I could take it. I didn't expect the parents to roast you. And then you're like, I'm looking for a bully.
yeah. I was looking for the bully because I knew that they didn't have anything on what my mom and dad had given me earlier. But yeah, it was in having, some siblings, I have 3 older sisters. So there's always just like comedy and laughs always kind of being shared in the house.
Yeah. Then, so how did you make the jump from stand-up?
As I said, it was something I always wanted to do, and I just was a little too nervous to do it. It's like when you're in high school, you see that girl that you have the crush on, but you're like too afraid to approach her.
Yeah.
That's what I felt with stand-up. But the first time I actually did a mic, my good friend Goody Hendrickson, she started doing stand-up because we had did improv together, and then she started doing stand-up. So I checked her out and I was like, man, that's really cool. And Stephanie Cash App, who is another one of my good friends, great comic, she messaged me one day and said, hey, I'm about to do this open mic. If you're free, come check me out. So I said, oh, all right. So I went to go see her. And when I got there, she said, just so you know, I put your name on the list. And I was like, so I was like, well, I'm not gonna be a coward.
Yeah.
I went up there and I did my 5 minutes or whatever, which I'm sure was terrible.
Yeah.
Alex Harshaw was kind enough to record that for me. I have not watched it back. I probably should. I still have it.
You watch it. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid whether you like it or not, because the more you do stand up, the less you like your past stuff, because you're always going to be trying to do better and do better and do better. And I always tell people, if you're always in love with your past shit, that means you didn't grow. But if you're always watching your past shit that did well and you're like, oh, then you're growing. Because now you're like, yeah, but I know how to put a twist on that. But yeah, I know how to do this. There's more you can do. I mean, improv and stand up is one of those things where you have to do it to get good at it. It's not something you could sit on the side and, like I have a book I just pulled up because I haven't seen this book in years. I bought it. It was kind of has like a lot of workbooks and stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this book in over 14 years. And like I said, this book's great. But if this is all you do, you're never going to hit that level you want to hit, because this is a great stepping stool. Like this
I also have a book. I have a book. It's a Chipotle napkins. This is it's about a 16-page book.
Yeah. Well, when I was single, that used to be toilet paper. Put it in the bag. Yeah. When I got married, my wife told me, no, that should end. So, yeah.
But no, I do think that stand-up and improv, they go together, really well. I think it's interesting. You said that the stand-up or the improv, you seem to be a little bit more difficult. I think it's 2 completely different disciplines that go together so very well. And I think that really helped me along with stand-up, because I was already used to being silly on stage. I was already used to, so I think all of those reps had helped. So by the time I got to do stand-up, I just had to worry about like writing the material or making the material a little bit more concise. And I think also improv helps because, one, you're grabbing topics on the fly.
Yeah.
So there, now you already have a little bit of material anyway. It's like, oh, what, I said this doing an improv show that landed pretty well. I can maybe weave that into like a joke, so I think they go together.
There's a lot of world building, lots of world building, especially in improv. Like I remember doing the drill where you had to establish who you are, what you're doing, and what the setting is. And you'd be like, all right, ready, go. All right, keep an eye out for a warden while we drill this hole. Yeah, I mean, and it's like, oh, they're in prison, warden, we're obviously prisoner. Yeah. It's like, I'm not doing it as good as anybody would, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, I love, like, you never think, like, when you're thinking about improv, like, there is so much structure to something that looks structureless.
Sure.
And
Sure.
and then, you know, that's one of the beauties of improv that I absolutely love, is that it is all these rules, all these structures, all these little things that you have to remember, you know, to keep everybody afloat. And I always implore everybody, take an improv class, or I know that, do they still do the improv downtown, that one workshop with it's at the
Yeah.
what's the place called
It's,
again?
Gresso's
Gresso.
every Thursday at 7 o'clock.
I showed up to
Yeah.
2 of those, and like,
Yeah.
I felt like everybody thought I was being pretentious by not doing it, but I was just such a fucking pussy. I did not want
No,
to.
you got it. You know, like,
Everybody's like, "You gonna do it?" And I'm like, "I got it. I
oh
got it."
man, you got to jump in there. And it's the same way. I also went to a few open mics before I had done stand up. You know, I didn't come
Yeah.
up mic and just stood there because I was a coward.
Oh
Um,
god, yeah.
but yeah, you know, just jump in and
But
do it.
but hats off to you, man. You made the jump.
Yeah,
I sat
yeah,
there like a little. You know, one of these days, the next time you're going, let me know. I'll come with you, and then
absolutely.
handcuff me to you, and then when you jump into a scene, I'll be forced. Like,
We'll do it. We'll
all
do
right.
it. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm game.
All right. Well, speaking of being quick on your feet, well, I know I wanted to talk more about your promoting and all that stuff, so this will go into it. But we're going to do right now some hot fire quick fires, or hot mess quick fires. Basically, just some quick questions to get the ball rolling, find out who you are for the audience to know. So you are a marketing extraordinaire. We're going to get deeper into that. So what was the wildest marketing idea you've ever pitched to yourself or to somebody when you're doing a show?
Man, the wildest. I don't know if it's the wildest, but I would say the most ambitious was I did the cereal, the Oops All Women. So
Yeah.
and it was a dumb idea. I was in the grocery store and I just saw, you know, the Oops All Berries, and at the time I was planning on doing an all women show. So I turned that to Oops All Women, and then that's where I became an insane person, because then I made like these cereal boxes for all of the performers. So
yes,
we had,
yes.
Honey Nut Goodios. What did I have? I had Nikki Charms, Amber Falter. I did Amber Jacks. And so just to design all of these cereal boxes, and then for the audience, I purchased like a variety pack. So on every seat, on every seat there was a box of cereal, and it had the performers. You know,
that's
like
so cool.
Yeah.
And it's so like that to me, like, because right now I'm producing a show, The Roast of Santa Claus, and I make individual flyers for each character, because I saw you did that with the cereal, and I'm like, that's brilliant. So I don't have to have a main flyer. I can do multiple different type of flyers. And that was just something that, like, I'm watching you do is, you know, because like you have fun doing this. Like that sounds a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And I'm also an insane person. So it's like, you know, after you start doing the one, it's like, oh, I got to do another one. Let's keep it going. But I have learned though that like everyone loves being on a flyer, right? Like that's really, really cool. So if you make individual flyers, then people are usually more inclined to like share their flyer. You know, like if you're doing a show and there's 6 people on it, or you're producing the show and you're on it, the performers are like,
I don't want this fucking asshole on my feet.
But if they're on it, then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I got to share. I got to show it to everybody. I got to show my mom, you know, so I think that helps with some.
That is so interesting. I never thought of it like that at all. That's very fascinating. And do you feel like that you decided to, like, I mean, here's the thing, when you advertise, you do a lot of fun promotions for your shows and stuff like that. Do you feel like you aim to be that fun because maybe it's boring? It's because, let's face it, promoting it can be boring. Do you feel like that's why you went in that direction, or did you always kind of see it as, no, this is an opportunity to expand the show, you know, to start the show before the actual show starts? Like, where'd your mindset come for this?
So, I think really it's just it's always just like a fun idea. So like you'll have a fun idea and just to kind of go with it, and it does. After you have that, then like you said, you can kind of build the show out from that. So the cereal thing, you know, and then so now there's a theme, and I think no matter how you do it, I feel like we always kind of have to approach these things creatively, right? Because you can get comedy anywhere, right? Like you can go to TikTok, you can go to
Oh,
Netflix, you can go to Hulu, you can get comedy anywhere. And most of the times it's free, right? But to get people to pay 15, 20, $25 and to park, and then, they're buying a drink, you have to give them like a whole, like a vibe. You got to give them an experience. You got to give them a
There you
show.
go. Yep.
And so I think that also happens with like the promotion or the advertising. Cause like if I just put, 3 guys on a flyer with the old time microphone and said Comedy Tuesday, it's not going to stand out. Like no one's going to see that, And so when you do something that just kind of, most of the times it's just a silly idea. And I'm like, let me see if I can do that. So I've done just, kind of satire on a bunch of stuff. I think I started doing a bunch of like Marvel type posters, superhero with the floating heads, and it looked like an epic thing. And I kind of learned pretty early that like the flyer absolutely sets the tone. So you put this thing and it looks really epic. It looks like a big deal. And then people kind of feel like it's a big deal when they come.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like it's kind of like the cold opening of a show. You know what I mean? It's like you're already wowing them before the movie actually begins. You know what I mean? And I think that's I admire that. And like I said, I've watched you do that so much, and like you build it like a promoter. Like, and I think that's what we need to do, because like I said, there's so many ways you can be entertained. Maybe in the '80s that flyer was enough. Nowadays, it's the experience. People want to go into going, okay, we're going to see this big thing. And I agree. I absolutely agree with that. Now, most unconventional place you've ever performed comedy.
Oh, man.
I got one idea what it is because it's recent, but if you have one that's wilder, I invite it.
I think you're probably correct. The most unconventional place that I've done comedy was just this past Tuesday. I did it at Siren's Gentlemen's Club. Which was a fantastic show. It was a great room. I think one of the cool things about it was they had a private room. So like if you go into Sirens, they have like the main stage, the bar is in the middle, and then they have like the VIP room. And so in the VIP room, the audio is isolated. There's a stage in there. It was.
Oh, I would imagine that the audio would be isolated in a VIP room. I would imagine any noise in the VIP room would be isolated to just that room.
Valid. That's a very good point. Very good point. But no, it was a great room for comedy. When I was pitched the idea, like I thought that it was a joke, and I was like, again, imagine you're leaving your house to go see a naked woman, but when instead you get there and you see me on stage complaining about my job, you know what I mean? Like, like, no one wants to see that.
It's a hard sell. It's a hard sell.
Absolutely. But the turnout was fantastic. The room was great for comedy because like people showed up for comedy, which I thought was really, really cool. So it was.
Way to go! You made all the strippers feel bad. They're just like, "You here for the titties? No, we're here for the comedy." Oh,
yeah, we're here for the
comedy. Oh man!
This guy.
This guy.
For what it's worth, my father passed away about 6 months ago.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, appreciate it. And
sorry.
6 months later, here I am performing at the strip club, Jesse. So that tells you those fatherless activities don't take long to bud. You know what I mean? It just.
Oh man, I'm late. I lost my father last September. Shit, man,
You're invited to the next one. Go.
Oh, okay, all right. I gotta do.
At the strip club.
I gotta do more fatherless activities. That brings everybody together.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll tell you the thing that I was really surprised and really kind of enjoyed, that there were a lot of dancers that came. Either they had worked the earlier shift or they kind of stuck around for the comedy, which was great because one, that kind of softened the demographics of the room, right? So now it wasn't just a bunch of dudes there for comedy. We had a lot of ladies, and And if you got the dancers laughing, then of course you're going to get the other guys in the room laughing too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Get some pretty girls laughing at the jokes. Then and then now the jokes are a little bit funnier to the hard faced guys in the room. So it worked
laughing
out really,
is
really
a social cue. It is a social cue, and that's very that is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of like misconceptions that can come from like, okay, what are they going to do with the show and stuff? And like I said, I heard it went off without a bat, without a hitch. It went great, and I'm happy.
It was really, really cool. Pulls and punchlines at Sirens. It went so well. They actually asked me to do 2 additional dates. So immediately after that show, they asked if I could do one in January. So the next one is actually going to be on, I believe it's Tuesday, January 29th. And then we'll have one for February also. So it was a blast. I can't wait to do it again.
That's awesome, man. That is really good. Let me throw another question at you. And now we've all been on crazy. We've done amazing rooms. So let's talk about all rooms in general. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. But have you ever been on stage and you walk on stage and you see the crowd and you go, "Oh fucking hell, no"? I'm supposed to say no, not hell now. I just can't write. I just can't write. That's all it is. Let's fix that. Okay, yeah. But if you ever you're like, "Oh hell no, this is not going to work. I'm fucked."
I think yes. I think this is kind of I don't know. This might be a little bit of an untraditional answer, but I did a corporate gig and it was terrible. It was an improv, my improv troupe, Face Club. We did a corporate gig, and man, it was awful.
Okay, a couple questions to set up. What time of the day was it?
It was evening, so it was like 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
What day was it?
Ooh, I think it was like a Thursday, maybe like.
Oh, so they've been out since 6. Yeah. They're exhausted. They hate you guys. I'm sorry.
Oh man,
they hate you. I'm sorry.
Everything about it was terrible. It was definitely a hot mess. Like the whole.
Yeah.
But we got up there, and I think one of the 2 things that made it terrible is I had offered or asked if we could host the show, right? So instead of us host, because when you're doing improv and people aren't expecting improv, it just will never go well, right?
Yeah.
Stand-up is a little bit more traditional. If you're standing up there and you're telling jokes, people kind of know how to act, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing improv, you might be doing, an impersonation, or you're trying to build some sort of scene or build some sort of world. And if the people aren't there for improv or aren't expecting it, they don't know how to, deal with it, because it's not, punchline, reaction.
Yeah.
So, but man, we get up there. Now, one, they already had hosts. And so they're hosting, we got these awards. It was for the American Advertising Awards. It was the American Advertising Awards. And so the hosts, they're doing their thing, and they're like, up next we have this improv troupe, and they're doing a sketch. And so, right?
Oh God, that just
immediately. And so we get up there.
I like that word.
It was just so terrible, because now, one, we didn't have the correct audio. So we had told that we were going to have some microphones up there to because again, when you're doing improv, you can't just hold a mic, most of the time, and being expressive. We get up there, there's no mic stand, and then one of the mics immediately goes out. It was like a wireless mic.
Shit.
So now
wireless mics don't work. I know wireless mics are great if you got one that's worth $1,000, but if you get one that's $50, expect that shit to go out every single time. Man. Sorry, had a rant about it. Continue.
No, sorry. It was terrible. So it's 3 or 4 of us on stage with one wireless mic. There are 200 plus people in the crowd. All right. So this is a big audience. There's 200 plus people in the crowd. And outside of that, they were selling online access as well. So I don't know how many people were watching virtually. People in the crowd, a bunch of people watching virtually. I want to say at the door, the tickets were between 100 to 100, and it was. So wait, this is a corporate event for their employees, and they're somehow paying more. Man, so I think because it was the American Advertising Awards, my guess is that their demographic was like companies, right? So like Sears.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay.
Yeah. And so like Sears is sending their employees, or Chipotle is sending their employees in. So the corporation is footing the bill.
Got it.
So again, big dollars, right?
Yeah.
We did not get paid for this. we did not get paid for this.
You got exposure.
I got exposure. Now, mind you, Jesse, I threw a show at the strip club over the weekend. I paid my performers an exposure for sure. And I also gave them a little bit of cash, you know. But this was so terrible. Audio was terrible. The situations that we were put in, and then we're just trying to do the thing. And the insult came is the girl who was hosting it, or who was putting it together. I'd asked a question about the stage or something, and she sent me like a Google Doc. And in the Google Doc, it had the invoice for what they paid for tablecloths, bartenders, all of this stuff.
So you were seeing.
So I got to see how much the tablecloths were getting paid and how much we were not getting paid. I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad. And as soon as we got up there on stage, it was looking, and it was like, oh hell no, because I knew that they were not fucking with us at all. They hated everything about us being there.
The tablecloth was upper middle class.
Oh my gosh, it was so. I'll give you two beats and I'll get off of this, but like there was a bit that we were doing. If you're familiar with Whose Line Is It Anyway, they have a game called Party Quirks.
Yes.
And so you'll get a quirk. This person is being eaten by ants. This person is just waking up for the first time in 100 years, right? Just some sort of like quirk to give that person that character, right? And so we do that. We ask for a suggestion for a quirk, and someone in the crowd says, "He's and I was like, oh no. And then so we're like, no, we can't use that one. Anyone else have a suggestion?
Oh
God. He said you're and I was like, oh,
God.
No, like, no, we can't. This is terrible. So then like, and now I'm looking at these faces, and they're looking at each other like, well, why didn't they do that? And I was like, no, like, this is awful. We're not going to do this. So that was like one. And then we continued to do this. And again, mind you, we had like to pass this microphone around. So it was terrible. The last piece of this was, oh my gosh. And think of this of like the Grammys, the Academy Awards or whatever. And they had the hosts go up there and they said, for the advertising agency of the year or movie of the year, you know what I mean? Like it was their big award. So they announced their big award, advertising firm of the year, congratulations. Everyone applauds. And then they said, now, before you go, we have one more skit from the improv troupe. So I mean, it was already hell. And then everybody was ready to hit the door after they announced the big award. And then we go up there. Oh my God. I mean, it was by far the worst feeling on stage ever. We didn't get paid. They said that they were going to put our Venmo or something on the table or something. I don't think anyone tipped. It was so bad.
Ouch.
It was rough.
Comedy. Those are the fun hell gigs that shape you into the performer you have. I always tell people like everybody has those hell gigs, man. And it's so fun because like hell gigs eventually, like when you get to a point where you're doing good shows, it's so great to recollect. Like, here's the part. Yeah, I love that feeling.
Oh man, it was rough. It was rough. I'll never forget that ever. My good friend Candace, who kind of helped set that up. If you bring that up to her, she will start crying. And we are like 5 or 6 years removed from this. If you bring it up to her today, she will start crying. Like that's how traumatic it was.
Dude, There,
Oh,
dude, there is a cut above the refs with comedy,
yeah.
man. It really toughens you up psyche wise.
Oh, oh
You
my God.
need to. It's because some days you are walking into a show and you're like, okay, this is not going to be good at
No,
all. So yeah, but
no.
you have to push through, man. You got to push through.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about where you are now, because like I said, you're doing really great. You have a ton of different shows that you do. You're a part of tons. Like, name a few of the improv groups that you're a part of, because you've got a few that you've done.
Yeah, so right now, I've kind of pared back quite a bit. Just as far as improv, I do the Black Friday variety show. So
Yes,
my troupe is Black Friday, and so I've been doing a lot of stuff with them, and that's been primarily over the last probably like I'd say maybe like year and a half or so, just primarily doing that. This year, I really didn't do a ton of improv like outside of like, a couple of shows that but it's been with that troupe. So we've done some stuff there, which has been great.
it's good.
um so I took a little, as I said, so again, at the beginning of the year, my father, he was ill.
Yeah, of
took,
course.
took,
Yeah,
you know, took some time off, and some of the stuff that was still on the calendar, and so on and so forth. But yeah, Black Friday, we're fortunate enough, we won like an award for like the best improv troupe, which again, I think awards are always like funny
absolutely.
because um because there's way better improv out there. There's way better,
Yeah, yeah.
performers and all of that. Like, it's
It's
never about being better. It's just like about
no,
being different. You know what I mean? Or
it's recognition. It's recognition,
sure,
and what you could do with that recognition to spin it into something else to grow.
sure,
Yeah, I mean, because
sure.
like I was working with Michael Stephen Gazzato. He was the guy who played Gomi from Breaking Bad, and he said it's like,
Nice.
take those little things that you do, and they grow into bigger credits, bigger things, big. But you have to take the smallest credit and grow it. You have to grow it. So
Sure.
that's what you got to do. I mean, and right now, like I said, I talked to a lot of people up in Cleveland. One of the biggest things a lot of Cleveland comics talk about is like, you get really big in your city, and then you grow from there. Because you can see there's a lot of comics that grow out of Cleveland and stuff like that. I
Sure.
mean, hell,
Absolutely.
Jason Banks was originally from that area
Sure.
as well. So yeah.
Sure.
So and right now, I say this because you got ranked number 2 in Columbus, which is awesome. Like, what does that mean to you, man? I mean, that's a pretty awesome prestige thing.
Yeah, I think that what it means to me is that someone was bad at math. You know what I mean? They counted the ballots. I don't know, there's some hanging chads somewhere. I'm sure whoever was 3, 4, and 5, they probably wanted to storm the the Columbus Underground office. I don't. But I do
Oh,
think,
that's so funny.
as you said, recognition. It's cool.
It is.
That one, there are so many talented comedians on that list, and
Oh yeah.
I don't think that I can hold a candle to what they can do. It's Neff Johnson, we got Henry Allen is on there, Bridget Mindy. They're all like fantastic comics. I forget who all is on there, but like they fantastic comics.
Yeah.
But I do think one of the things that honestly got me on there is a bit of the recognition. Like I produce, that's something that I'm very, very proud of what I've been able to accomplish as far as producing shows. And I think when you put together a good show, people want to come back to it, and I think that is kind of what got me there. Now, I'm not going to I got a solid 10-15 minutes that can go anywhere. You know what I mean? I can get it done. But I think really what got me on the list, I think, was the people who have maybe been to a show and saw the whole thing. Like I think when you're a producer, it's a bit of a selfless act, right? You want to make sure that you put your performers in a position that they can win, right? You want to put them in the best
Yeah.
position,
Yeah.
and that way you give the best show, right? So you got a DJ, and if you maybe have a newer comic, you're putting them in different places, and so the people who are there, they get to enjoy the ride of a fantastic show, a fantastic production. And I think being a part of those productions is what got me there. But very proud of what I was able to accomplish, and the people that I've worked with that have obviously helped and been a huge part of those things. But I don't. This is the recognition is really cool. But I think it's because of the bigger picture, not just anything that I've done as independent, but like the people who have worked with me and been such a huge part of some of these shows.
Yeah, and like I said, yeah, I mean, with comedy, you know, it's like in improv, the biggest rule is, you know, if you hang out with 5 smart people, you become the 6th smart person. I mean, in this case, you hang around the right amount of comedians that are churning out this much, you're going to be churning out that much. It's just we kind of push each other and build each other. That's the biggest thing, and then because of that, we get very confident in what we do and the work we do. Now, like I said, what's up, biggest Rick? Oh my God, the biggest
Rick.
Good.
The biggest Rick that I took.
Hey, could have been. I could have wrote D instead of R. Jesus Christ, man! I'm like, you could tell I really put a lot of effort into these things. Like I had like such a good follow. Like, well, here we go. We're gonna keep working so hard and stuff like that. Oh no, you're taking a big Rick.
Big Rick. Look.
All right, so let me try this again. Jesus Christ. What is the biggest risk you ever taken? Like, and it's paid off? Because like comedy, it's all risk. I mean, especially improv. Improv is built and baked into risk. I mean, promoting a show is baked into risk. So, like, with doing all this stuff, doing all these amazing things, what has been a big risk that you've taken and it paid off?
I probably the first show that I produced myself. I did a show called Improvageddon, and that show was in 2021. So we were in the shadows of the big thing that was affecting the earth globally here. And so
nice touch.
Yeah, there you go.
We don't want to get flagged.
Because of that, it was definitely a risk because one, we're concerned about the numbers and all of this stuff. This is back when things are going from yellow to the orange and like all of that.
Oh my God, I forgot about colors.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
To put this much of effort and then money into this event, like not showing exactly how that was going to go.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The venue that I worked with, they were great. So I was fortunate enough that they had it was Via Vecchia Winery, and they're actually no longer with us. But they had a facility that was indoor and outdoor. So I could throw the show on the courtyard if the weather was great.
Which I saw pictures of that place. You found a gem. That was like, I saw pictures of that, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut your story off. I just want people to know, like, it was like watching the set of a TV show. Like the way it was built. Because it almost had kind of a pit vibe. Like where it kind of like the focal point of the show was the stage. You found like a really good venue. I just want to say I was so jealous when I saw that picture. Damn.
The venue was fantastic. The weather was perfect that day, so we were able to put it outside, and then that helped with the numbers and like all of that. And because of that, it ended up, because of the time that I did it, ended up being like one of the biggest comedy shows of the year. So the first show that I had produced was like everything just fell into place. The performers knocked it out of the park. And everyone at that time was just looking for a chance to perform, because no one had performed, for most of the year. And then I think the people were looking to get out of the house and to go enjoy live performance. And so like those things, it was a lot of luck that just kind of boom, boom, boom landed in. And because of the magnitude of it, we had, close to 200 people there.
Wow.
Being one of the biggest shows of the year, I got news coverage. And I was fortunate. I got cable news coverage, and then that just kind of kicked off a few other things, which I thought was really, really cool. One place, I won't name them, I guess. I had tried to produce a show there. I'd reach out to them, send them an email, hey, I'd like to throw a show here. And they didn't respond at all. And then after that event, after Improvageddon, then they like messaged me and was like, hey, hey, do something, you can
That's why I tell everybody, if you hear a no or no one replies back to you, that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means they haven't realized how right you got it. And
There you go.
obviously you knew what you were doing, man.
There you go. There you go.
That's amazing. Now,
Yeah.
like I said, sorry, I didn't cut you off.
Well, no, I was just, I think one of the cool things about that, and I think one of the big takeaways is that I think you always have the ability to get people's attention once, right? So like if you're throwing your first show or you're doing your first whatever, you have the ability to get people's attention, right? And so you're going to draw that crowd, and you have to be able to land the plane, right? Because if I had all of that attention at that time, and if that show didn't go well or something, terrible happened, the performance was bad or whatever, that would have been like, if moving forward, I would have got a bunch of no thank yous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because everything, like, just really, it was a lot of luck, and everybody did their thing perfectly, from the DJ to the people running the venue to the performer. Like, everything was great. And then that just drew a lot of attention. And then from there, people were either interested in the next thing that I was doing,
Nice.
and or venues were more willing to give me a chance to to do stuff with them.
Yeah. No, you definitely know what you're doing, my friend. Like I said, you definitely have a talent for marketing, which I think a lot of comics in this industry lack that. And it's important to have that because, like I said, you extend the show. You make the show bigger. It's not just one day. It's every moment leading up to the show. Like, I was look at a lot of movie advertisement nowadays, and like there's movies that are like, oh, you have to decode this to kind of have an idea what the movie might be about. Well, and it sounds crazy, but people were learning how to decode shit. You know what I mean? Like, it was Long Legs that did that, and it was like so fascinating. But it's like building into that moment, and you knew how to do that. You knew the risk you were taking. You knew, especially the time sensitivity, the location, and you nailed it. I'm very happy. And like I said, you have a strong reputation for it, to the point where, like I said, you do one of the funniest things that you do, and we'll talk about this real quickly, is that you will never waste a moment to advertise. There could be a comic feud in the area, and like, or someone recently had an issue with you. They were like, listen, no offense, fuck Terrence, but I mean, I don't really have a lot of beef with him. I mean, he's cool, but fuck him. Like, he was just like, and like, most comics would get so drawn into this fuck you match. Not you.
No.
Not you. You posted pull the punchlines next Tuesday. And I say hats off to that, because that's a professional response. You didn't lower yourself to somebody who was, ragging on you because they were unprofessional and they're not happy with the career. You could have, you were just like, no, I'm fucking busy. I've got fucking time to deal with this bullshit.
I think that is it, man. And I feel like I've learned that. One, man, coming in, I've had the privilege of working with so many cool people, and I think, like, as I said, like the number two and like all of that, it's all about collaboration, right? Because I think I've taken a collaborative approach, because, like, one, is it the rising tides raise all ships, and
exactly, yes.
And I want to shout you out as one of these people, because you were always helpful and gave me such fantastic advice, in talking, and I that's when I kind of learned early on, the people that are moving and shaking are too busy to put up with the bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, they're busy being booked, so they don't have time to worry about this silly stuff or whatever. And I think, like you, Mark Faison, just like fantastic veterans. In fact, it was a show that I did very early, and this advice has stuck with me forever. Hanging out with you and Mark in the green room or before the show, one of the best pieces of advice that I've always kept. Mark had said, when you're traveling to a spot or traveling to a venue, make note of like what you see as you travel through there, right? Like, you gotta make a conversation about the hell is real sign that you passed, or if you're performing in a bookstore, make some jokes about the books, that it's a shared experience. And then you added on to that, when you get on stage, be funny as long as you can without hitting the material. and then finally get to the material. Make conversations and jokes about the surroundings and the things that you saw, all the shared experiences before you get to the written material, and just stuff like that. And being around like comics where you guys could have saw me as a new comic and said, oh, this guy, and blew me off or ignored me, or said he's trying to whatever, but no, like I feel like all of the veterans, like yourself, Nikki Winkleman, Travis, Amber Falter, like all of these people who have been doing this for a while, Henry Allen, Neff, like I talked to all of these people who have been doing it for a while, and they've always been kind enough to give me information, give me some advice, and you learn where like this pettiness is silly, but
we're all figuring it out.
Yeah, to the specific thing you were talking about, it's like, hey, they brought my name up. Well, here we go. Here is what I'm doing. So come join me. You know what I mean? Like,
and you're smart, because there's some days I don't think I would have been able to do what you did. I'll admit I have a bit of a chip on my shoulder, so I would have actually said something. And then also, to be fair, the advice I gave you was a piece of advice I heard from Bill Hicks. So I can't even I don't want to take ownership of that. I want people on the internet being like, hey, you didn't say that shit. I'm like, I know I did, but
like if it's good advice, like share it. And even the fact that you shared that advice, you could have kept it to yourself and like, I'm not going to let this guy know. You know what I mean? Like it's and I've been so fortunate coming into before I started doing any comedy stuff. I was friends with a lot of people who did music, so like music production, and those were the people that really have kind of like modeled like my shows and my kind of promotions and those types of things. I learned so much from kind of the music side, and like all of that stuff is obviously transferable. But yeah, like just sharing that info, and I'll give anybody advice if you want to hear it, or you want some feedback. I'll give it to anybody. I'll let you know what I did. It may or may not work the same way or whatever, but like I will absolutely, because I love it. I've been really fortunate by people like yourself and so many others who've given me good info.
Thank you. Like I said, it's all about just paying it forward. You never know, the person you pay it forward to tomorrow might pay it forward back to you, and you may not even know it. It's just because it's just keeping that cycle going. I mean, they might help someone out over here who then ends up helping you over here, and you never knew that was connected somehow. And it's fascinating, because like I've had that happen before. I help someone out over here, and then I'll have someone come over here and say, hey, you helped a friend of ours out, and we're seeing you're doing this, and we want to help you with this. And it just came out of nowhere. And it's good. It works like that. You can never go wrong just wanting to help other people do well, because when you're in a situation where you have a project and you need help, they want to see your ship float up to the top. And that's just how it works. So right now I love this conversation. That's why I had you on this show. Sure. Now we're going to get a little personal here. We're going to get a little touchy. We're going to get a little touchy here. We're going to do something, a segment I like to call the Crash Out Couch. All right. So now what the Crash Out Couch is you get 1 minute to bitch about anything you want in the most comedic fashion you like. I will give you a 10-second window of when you have to wrap up, and then I'll do this for when you gotta be done. But basically, you can bitch about anything. It could be big world, small world, anything. Like I said, this is the hot mess with Jess. So you get to be a hot mess and have a moment where you just say, fuck the world and whatever particular thing you want to talk about. So let me tell you, Gawd Show, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a 5-second countdown. Ready? So 5, 4, 3.
All right, look, to keep in theme with what we're talking about, I cannot understand for the life of me why performers as a whole, comics specifically, are so weird about sharing what they're doing to people. I don't understand it at all, right? Like people, I talk to comics and they're like, I'm never going to tell my parents. I don't want my family to know that I do comedy. I don't want my coworkers to know that I do comedy. Yep. What the fuck are you doing it for? You don't want anyone to know what you're doing? Like, just no, I don't understand it. To someone the other day, and they were saying, like, well, I don't, care if I get paid, and I don't care if anyone shows up. Well, then don't do it. You know what I mean? You don't care. Why in the hell do you think anyone else would care? All right, like, get your shit together. tell people that you're doing the thing, and then you'll make a few dollars for it, right? You're not maybe going to make $1 million, but to not tell people, especially, here's the other thing, and this drives me nuts. All right, like this is where I'm actually there's a vein popping out in my forehead here. Is that as an independent producer, I pay my performers very well. I make sure that they're in positions and like all of that. And like for them not to share the flyer that I customize for them, but instead they share the thing that they're not getting paid for. Like they're performing at the venue or the club and they're not making a fucking dime. Instead, they want to share and talk about that. No, help share the boost the little guy who's coming out of pocket to pay everybody. That's me. I'm the little guy, not the place, the brick and mortar place that's not even paying you.
Yeah.
You're somehow more excited to not get paid for your art. I can't take it. And then the people who are like, well, I'm the artist, I'm the performer, I'm the talent. The promoter should be promoting. No one shows up to see the fucking promoter. All right. Like they show up to see the comic or the person playing the fucking guitar. They don't show up for the guy who made the flyer or the guy who booked you guys. Like that's right.
No, I love it. I let you go a little longer because I understand that. I understand that. I understand that passion, man. I understand it. So let's we'll talk about real fast before we get into our last segment. But I think it's crazy. Like if someone's paying you to do something and it's an indie thing, you should be trying to make sure that thing goes off without a hitch. You got to make sure it goes. I don't know. I think comics sometimes they treat this status over business. This looks prestigious, so this is what I'm going to do. But I'm like, yeah, but if this thing's paying you, you should be giving it that energy. And that happens a lot of times. It sucks. But I think that comes from maturity. Because the one thing about comedy that, for me at least, and I'm not sure if this is something you've seen, you're not really trained in the business of comedy. You know, you spend the first 10 years getting really good at stand-up, really good. And then you have these 10-year-old mentality comics. 10-year-old mentality, as I mean like 10 years of experience comics, who know the stage. They know the stage well. Anything off the stage, the business aspect, the contracts, the promoting, the tickets, what you're making versus what they're making, compensate. That's where I think everybody falls loose and then they're not seeing what they're doing. I'm not sure if that's something you've noticed.
No, I think so. Because I'm always kind of fascinated at the lack of both. You know what I mean? And I think it's artists as a whole, and it's not just comics. But if you play the guitar or you're
yeah,
they're really good at the art, but very bad at the business.
Yes.
And I think maybe because I came into it from a different angle. Like I was never like I never did any theater. I never did any of that stuff. I never thought what I did was like art, honestly. I played sports, I was just playing sports. But then my very first show that I performed at, I got paid like $26 or something. And I was like, oh, I got paid just to screw around. Like, this is pretty cool. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. And then
that's such a good feeling.
And I think because of that very first show, I knew that I could get something, you know what I mean? And so in just looking at that, just kind of moving forward, like, oh, if they're charging at the door, then the performer should be compensated in some way, right?
Oh, like 100%. If they're charging at the door, the performer should be getting something. That, and I think sometimes we get when we're young, we're like so happy to be on the show, to get that recognition, to be treated like, because I think so much of comedy when we start out is we tell people we're comedians, but we want to be treated like comedians. We want people to recognize us as comedians. And then when we get that recognition, we forget about the business side of show business. We're worried about the show, but not about the business. And and some people feel dirty about asking for money, but they have to remember, like, hey, this is a service. This is a business. This is your hard work. Don't feel dirty about it. Put a value to it. Because then if you put a value to it, people will value it. You know what I mean? They will go.
Man, if I can share this piece of advice,
sure.
I on Gay Street, on the corner of Gay and High, I used to walk by that intersection all the time, and there was an art gallery there, and I would look in there, and it was all of this beautiful art. One day, I walk by, and the guy says, "Hey, you look familiar. And I don't know you. And he says, are you Floyd's son? I said, yeah, that's my dad. He said, I went to high school with your son or with your father.
Yeah.
Every day you walk by, you look, like your father. And so I go in and I'm looking at all of his beautiful art. And I said, I never understand art. It's a beautiful thing. But what's the difference between charging like $1 million for a painting versus charging like $300? Because to me, this stuff is all beautiful and it's something that I can't do. And he started smiling and he said, I have art that is in, some of the businesses downtown. I have it in banks. I have it in multi-million-dollar homes. And he says, if you're an artist and you say that this painting is $200, they're going to look at that and they're going to say, oh, this guy's just trying to make $200. If you say that this painting is $50,000, now it's a conversation piece. No one wants to put a $200 painting in a multi-million-dollar home, but they sure as hell want to put that $50,000 painting on the wall of that multi-million-dollar home. And he said, so you set the value of what you provide. And I was like, wow, holy shit. And when you spin it towards what we do, and I mean, think about the shows that we've been on, and you see, like, if the show is free, you'll get maybe, people look at it and they're like, oh, they're just begging for people to come in here. Yeah. If you're charging $5 for the show, I feel like that's even worse because they're like, oh, they're just trying to make $5. But if you say your ticket prices are $20, $25, people look at that and they say, oh, this is a professional thing. They're charging a reasonable price. So they value the art that they are putting on. So yeah, we'll pay the $15, we'll pay the $20 because this indicates that this is something that is more professional versus charging $5 for that ticket. And I have always stuck with that because, again, you do get to set the price of what your value of what your art is. Because if you tell a joke, whether you tell it for $5, you tell it for $15, or you tell it for free, you get to set the value of what that experience is. You get to set the value because if you tell it for free, then they're like, he's just screwing off. But people get to see like, oh, there's something serious here. Now, obviously, you can't charge $20 and then put up a shit show. You know what I mean?
You have to back that shit up. You got to back that shit up. But that is some really good spot advice that I hope a lot of people get, because I think sometimes in this business we forget to value ourselves and what we are, and sometimes know when to say no to a gig when we're like, no, I'm not going to do it for X amount of dollars, not because I think better than that, but because it's not going to reflect my value. And because like saying no to things opens you up to yeses elsewhere, and I think that you have to trust that. You gotta believe in that. But
and I think when you get to learn something, because you're just excited about being on stage and performing.
Oh,
Get to look at certain things. And I learned some of this from Henry Allen, just having a conversation, going to venues, like if they're playing secondary things in the background, the fight's playing and TV's behind you, you know what I mean? Probably want to say no to that gig. Is the sound going to be good? Are we going to have sound? Are you competing with people eating at the bar or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, you have to look at some of those things, because then you're setting yourself up for, success, right? Because people don't always know the circumstances, right? Like I showed up to the show. It was fucking terrible. I couldn't hear the guy and laugh.
They can throw it off. And here's the thing. I tell people, like, if the venue leaves the TVs on, they don't believe in your show. I don't care if they're paying you. They don't believe in your show. They don't. It's true. And I'm at that point. It's like, why are you bringing me in if you're not going to believe in the show? But like I said, your value, man. The one thing is, whenever they get you, they're not just getting the show. They're getting everything up until the show. They're getting the vibe. They're getting the tone, the atmosphere. So the night of the show, it's a big release of energy that you've been getting everybody stoked up and excited for. And I've been to your show before, and like I said, you didn't want to hashtag comedy. You had me on, which thanks you. Yeah, and it was a blast. I had a good time, and it's like you in that and it didn't feel like a regular show. It felt like, even though I was there already at the beginning of the show, I felt like I was coming in late, because you have built this up for the audience. You've been building it for a month, and then boom, here we are.
Sure.
So I think it takes an extraordinary skill set from a very extraordinary person. So Terrence, thank you so much for being on the show, man. I've had a blast talking with you tonight. Can you please tell us some upcoming shows and where we can follow you?
Oh man. Well, you can follow me on all social media at The Gawd Show. That is THAGAWDSHOW. It's THA, not THE. Just
Oh wow. See how much I don't give a shit about anything.
You know,
It's like go fuck yourself. Yeah. See this? Yeah. Sorry. Terrence, you chose the $50 podcast host rather than you should have said no to me and got a better podcast host. That's on you. Sorry. Okay.
No, it's fine. Now that you have forgot the E, that will enforce everyone to know that, you know, there's an A there. It's not, there's no E. There's no E.
There's no E. We underlined it. Oh man.
But on all the social media stuff, upcoming next, I am going to do another show at Sirens.
There we go.
Rules and Punchlines, which is really cool. That's going to be on January the 27th on a Tuesday. And then I think after that, I'm going to be doing another one. I want to do like something really, really cool there. I don't want to open up the cap there. And then also I'll be doing a show in Mansfield. I'm doing a Valentine's Day show at a fantastic spot. It's called 101 Tea Company. They just rebranded. It's a fantastic spot. I did a show there earlier this year. So I'm really excited to get back and to do it. So and most importantly, I don't know who to credit this to, Jesse, but if you come to one of my shows and you enjoy it, tell a friend. If you come to one of my shows and you hate it, tell an enemy. As long as you tell someone, I'm glad that you did that.
Just tell somebody.
Just tell somebody.
Good press, bad press, spell my name right. That's all, man. That's all.
That's right. THA.
THA. Yeah, THA, everybody. Again, he said, Terrence, you said yes to the $50 host when you could have got the $100 one. So sorry, my bad. But anyways, Terrence, thank you so much, man. It's so good and refreshing to talk with you. Stay on after we'll sign off together. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to the Hot Mess with Jess. Make sure you check me out, jesspimpinello.com. I got a bunch of headlining gigs that are going to come up starting in January. So stay tuned for the schedule. But I will be at the Funny Bone Comedy Club this Thursday as a benefit for Nationwide Children's Hospital. And during that time, pulling double duty, I'm producing a show at Hashtag Comedy Club because I can't say yes. I keep saying yes to everything when I'm like, I love comedy. I want to do more of it. So yeah, definitely I got a lot of options for you guys to check out. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been the Hot Mess with Jesse.